Counterpoint, the general knowledge music quiz, chaired by Paul Gambaccini.
Hello. There's just one place left to be decided in the 2021 Counterpoint final. It will be taken by the winner of today's contest between another three of the Heat winners from recent months. Our competitors have already proved their music knowledge, so at this stage, to quote Billy Ocean, the going gets tough. Once again, all of today's participants are taking part in COVID-safe conditions from their own homes. Let me invite them to reintroduce themselves.
Hello, I'm NICKI COCKBURN. I'm a student from Wales.
Hello everybody, my name's Stephen Lodge. I'm a support worker for autistic adults from Bridgewater in Somerset.
Hello, I'm Tim Wise. I'm a retired salesman from Wallington in Surrey.
A warm welcome back to all of you. As you all know, in the opening round, we ask you musical general knowledge questions worth 2 points each. We can award you a single point if you get your question half right. But if you don't get the full correct answer, I'll pass it down the line to the others for a bonus point. Good luck, everyone. We go round in alphabetical surname order. So, NICKI COCKBURN, the first question is for you. They're all my children. Every score I've done is a quote from a prolific Italian film composer who died in July 2020. His work includes The Mission, Once Upon a Time in America, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. What's his name?
Morricone?
That's right, Ennio Morricone for 2 points. Steve Lodge, let's hear one of his children now. Which Morricone film score is this?
I don't know, I'll have a stab at Angela's Ashes.
I'm sorry, that's not right. We'll pass it along to Tim Wise.
Cinema Paradiso.
That's right. Morricone collaborated with his son Andrea for that BAFTA-winning soundtrack, Cinema Paradiso. And here's your own question, Tim. Thanks to the pandemic, the Proms experienced a few changes for its 125th season. On the 2021st night, an eclectic program broadcast on Radio 3 featured treasured highlights from the archives. They included Claudio Abbado's last ever appearance at the Proms, conducting an epic Mahler symphony. Which one?
Resurrection Symphony.
And which number is that?
Number 2.
And that's why I have to say that you're not right. And NICKI, we're turning it over to you.
I'll just say number 9.
No, but that leaves 7 numbers for Steve Lodge.
Is it Symphony number 8, Symphony of 1000?
No, it's Symphony number 3, the longest symphony in the standard orchestral repertoire. It lasts over an hour and a half. NICKI COCKBURN, it's time for more music. In 2019, Sir David Attenborough made a surprise appearance at the Glastonbury Festival to launch the BBC series 7 Worlds, One Planet. From the Pyramid stage, he introduced a promotional trailer featuring this Australian vocalist. Can you identify her?
This is 7 worlds, one planet.
This world feels longer in the dark tonight. No hand to hold, no hand inside. I pour my heart onto the blackest sky. Oh, Spirit, can you hear our souls cry? I don't wanna walk alone.
That's Sia.
It is Sia for 2 points. The music was by Hans Zimmer. Steve Lodge, which female character from Greek mythology appears in the title of a 1930 ballet by Albert Roussel, a 1907 opera by Paul Dukas, and a 1912 opera by Richard Strauss?
Electra?
No, it's not Electra. Tim Wise, do you know?
No, sorry.
And that leaves NICKI COCKBURN.
Eurydice?
No, I'm sorry, it was Ariadne. Tim Wise, here is your question. Music from a Grammy Award-winning American composer-conductor known for his choral, orchestral, and wind ensemble music. His Lux Orumque is a translation of the poem Light and Gold by Edward Esch. When you've heard it, I'd like you to name him.
Is it Eric Whittaker?
It is Eric Whittaker for 2 points. NICKI COCKBURN. On the 1st of January 2021, Wham's Last Christmas finally sledged to the top of the charts. Since its original release in 1984, it had held the record as the UK's biggest-selling single never to have reached number 1. But now that honour has passed to which 2011 song by Maroon 5 featuring Christina Aguilera?
Is it Moves Like Jagger?
That is right. Steve Lodge, January 2021, also saw the return of the BBC Radio 2 series Top Brass, presented by trumpet virtuoso James Morrison. The first episode opened with Morrison guesting alongside the Bullhorns for this reimagining of a rock classic. I'd like you to name it and the group who originally released the song.
I Love Rock and Roll, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
I Love Rock and Roll, indeed, not Joan Jett. That was a cover version of who, Tim Wise?
No, sorry. I don't think.
It is a tough one. We'll turn it over to NICKI COCKBURN.
No, I was going to say Joan Jett. It's not Britney Spears. She did one too.
No, though she's also done a cover. It was The Arrows. Alan Merrill, co-writer of the song, passed away last year. Tim Wise. In June 2020, a committee in America announced that Luciano Pavarotti, Charlie Parker, and Don McLean were going to be stars. Why?
And the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, yes, you got that right. They're getting stars bearing their names along the walkway. Pavarotti and Parker, obviously posthumously. NICKI COCKBURN. The South American conductor Gustavo Dudamel already has his star on that Walk of Fame. Here he's leading the Simón Bolívar Symphony Orchestra of Venezuela in an overture from the album Tchaikovsky Shakespeare. Can you name this Shakespearean tragedy?
Let's guess Macbeth.
Let's say it, but it won't get you any points. Steve Lodge, do you know?
Is it Hamlet?
It is Hamlet for your bonus point. And here's your question. In 1981, the chart success of Stars on 45 led to a medley craze. What was the name of the medley of classical melodies taken to number 2 in the charts that summer by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra under Lewis Clark?
Hooked on Classics?
That is correct. Finally, in this opening round, Tim Wise, we take you back to the 70s with music from an award-winning singer who died in 2020. Here's her signature song, Clean Up Woman, which became a sampling standard in hip-hop music. After you've heard it, I'd like you to name her.
clean-up woman is a woman who gets all the love we girls leave behind. The reason I know so much about her is because she picked up a man of mine.
Oh dear, I just, Patti LaBelle.
I'm sorry, it is not Patti LaBelle. Can NICKI COCKBURN identify that singer?
No. It's a short answer.
Can Steve Lodge?
Betty Wright.
Betty Wright is correct. You get the bonus point. And the scores after the opening round are tied for second place with 5 points, Steve Lodge and Tim Wise. And leading with 6, NICKI COCKBURN. That means we're going to have to break the tie. I'm going to list the stage works of a major composer. The list begins with more obscure ones, but as soon as you recognize the composer, shout out the answer. Remember, if you get it wrong, your opponent will have the chance to hear the rest of the list and take the advantage. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Alzira. Ernani.
Verdi.
That's right. Verdi is it. I believe that voice belonged to Tim Wise. And so, Tim, you have broken the tie, and so you will get the second choice of specialist subjects. Our competitors will now choose a musical category or theme on which to answer their own set of questions. They'll choose in the order of their scores at this point. Here come today's topics. It's Written on the Wind, the Bible and popular music, an education, brides in musicals, and classical music on the railways. NICKI COCKBURN, you're in the lead. Which are you going to choose?
I think it will have to be the Bible and popular music, please,
The
Paul.
Bible and popular music. And for you, Tim Wise?
I'll try classical music on the railways.
That leaves 3 for Steve Lodge. They are It's Written on the Wind, an education, and brides in musicals.
I'll try an education, please.
We start with the contestant lying third. That's you, Steve Lodge. Here's your round on an education. Here's the opening of a musical composition by Benjamin Britten, subtitled Variations in Fugue on a Theme of Purcell. It was originally commissioned in 1945 as an educational tool. What's its main title?
The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra.
That is correct for 2 points. With text by poet Adolf Hayduck, Songs My Mother Taught Me is a work for voice and piano written in 1880 by which composer?
Dvorak.
Correct. Time for more music, this time from an American band with an ironic outlook on life and education. Can you name them?
I study nuclear science. I love my classes. I got a crazy teacher. He wears dark glasses. Things are going great, and they're only getting better. I'm doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades.
Sorry, I can't remember.
That was Timbuk 3 with their 1987 hit The Future's So Bright, I Gotta Wear Shades. Which 21st century musical, based on a film of the same name, features Dewey Finn's attempts to pose as a substitute teacher and train students to form a band?
School of Rock.
That's right. We now hear Danny Kaye borrowing the chorus of a small classroom to perform the Frank Lesser song Inchworm. It's from a 1952 film inspired by the life of a 19th century Danish storyteller. When you've heard it, I'd like you to name that.
Hans Christian Andersen.
That's right. And with that arithmetic, you probably will go far. Finally, in which of Sam Cooke's songs does he admit he doesn't know much about history, or biology, or science, or French, and so on?
Wonderful World.
That is correct. And so, Steve Lodge, In that round, you've scored 10 points. We are moving on to Tim Wise with Classical Music on the Railways. In which 1945 film starring Trevor Howard and Celia Johnson was Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2 used as the backdrop to an impossible romance after two strangers meet at a rail station?
Brief Encounter.
That is right. This could be the most famous train-related piece in classical music, which the composer said evoked the visual impression and physical enjoyment produced by a steam locomotive. Composer and title, please.
Is it the little train of the Brazilian Countryman by Villa-Lobos?
No, Pacific 231 is what it was, and it was by Honegger. For which of his string works did composer Steve Reich integrate fragments of audio recordings pertaining to rail travel, including the reminiscences of Holocaust survivors?
Oh, sorry, I have no idea.
Different Trains. Music, again. Which composer produced this 19th century work depicting a steam train?
Johann Strauss.
Which one?
The second.
That's right, for 2 points. We heard part of his Pleasure Train Polka. The train shoots forward and speeds through the countryside, freer than the wind, are lines from a traveling song with text by Nestor Kukelnik, described by the New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians as probably the first ever railway song. Which Russian composed it?
Rimsky-Korsakov.
I'm sorry, it was Glinka. Let's get back on track with this glamorous train about to embark on an interesting adventure. Name the composer and the film.
Murder on the Orient Express, Richard Rodney Bennett.
You're right. That's the 1974 version with Albert Finney as Poirot. And Tim Wise, in that round, you scored 6 points. NICKI COCKBURN, here come your questions on the Bible and popular music. Which pop star played the role of Pontius Pilate in the 1988 Martin Scorsese film The Last Temptation of Christ?
David Bowie.
Yes, that's right, for 2 points. The pages of the Bible have provided rich pickings for Hollywood since the days of the silent screen. Here's part of the soundtrack from a biblical epic from 1956, Cecil B. DeMille's remake of one of his silent films. Can you name the movie?
Ben-Hur.
No, I'm sorry, it was the 10 Commandments. Elmer Bernstein composed the music. This song, dating from 1941, also famously references the Bible. Who was the singer?
Them that's God shall forget them that snatch shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
Oh, goodness. Billie Holiday.
That's right.
Oh,
That's your second successful guess
Yeah.
this round. Billie Holiday co-wrote God Bless the Child with Arthur Herzog Jr. Which rock musical, with music and lyrics by Stephen Schwartz and based mainly on Matthew's Gospel, was first produced in 1971?
Godspell?
Yes, indeed. Jason Donovan enjoyed great success in the lead role in Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in London's West End in 1991. But who sings the part here?
Close every door to me, hide all the world from me, bar all the windows and shut out the light. Do what you want with me, hate me and laugh at me, darken my daytime and torture my night.
I think that might have been a very young Philip Schofield.
You're right, it was a young Philip Schofield. And for your last question on the Bible and popular music, who recorded an album in 1977 that has become a classic and shares its title with the second book of the Old Testament?
Well, the second book of the Old Testament is Exodus.
Yes, but who made an album
Oh.
called Exodus?
Bob Dylan.
Oh, it was Bob Marley.
Oh.
Well, do not fret, Nikki Cockburn, because in that round you scored 8 points. Here are the scores after the individual round. Lying third with 11 points is Tim Wise. In second place with 14 points is Nikki Cockburn. And our leader with just one round to go with 15 points is Steve Lodge. It all hinges on the final round. I'm going to ask our 3 contestants in turn as many questions as they can answer in the space of 60 seconds. There's a point for each correct answer with nothing deducted for a wrong answer. Again, we start with the contestant lying third. Tim Wise, your minute starts now. Before going solo, Belinda Carlisle was the lead vocalist of which band?
The Runaways.
The Go-Go's. Road to Ruin and Rocket to Russia are album releases by which group?
Pass.
The Ramones. Who composed the 3-act opera The Bartered Bride?
Smetana.
Yes, the songs Maybe and We'd Like to Thank You, Herbert Hoover are songs from which musical?
Something Pennsylvania Avenue.
Annie. Which song by Talking Heads contains the lines, "And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife"?
Oh, can't think. Sorry.
Once in a Lifetime. According to the song title by Loudon Wainwright III, where was the dead skunk?
Pass.
In the middle of the road. In which 1990 Spike Lee film does Denzel Washington play a jazz trumpeter?
Pass.
Mo Better Blues. In a novelty song by the Barron Knights. And there were many novelty songs by the Barron Knights. In that round, Tim Wise, you scored 1 point. Nikki Cockburn, your minute begins now. Before going solo, Richard Ashcroft was the lead vocalist of which British rock band? Yes. Now is the Time and Jagged Little Pill are albums by which
Alanis
singer-songwriter?
Morissette.
Yes. The Sinfonia at the start of a third act of Handel's oratorio Solomon heralds the arrival of which guest?
Pass.
The arrival of the Queen of Sheba. The songs Ex-Wives and Don't Lose Your Head feature in which musical?
Pass.
6. Which song by Supergrass contains the lines, "We are young, we run green,
Feeling
keep
All
our
Right.
teeth..." Yes. What's the name of the 1970 classical guitar piece by Stanley Myers, also known as the theme from The Deer Hunter?
Pass.
Cavatina. According to the song title by America, what didn't the horse have?
Legs.
No, A Horse with No Name. The 2016 movie Unbreak My Heart explores the life story of which singer?
Tony Braxton.
Yes. In which city is Chopin Airport?
Warsaw.
Yes. Which comic song by Victoria Wood features the couple Barry and Frida?
Let's do it.
Yes. What was the first? And so, Nikki Cockburn, in that round, you scored 6 points. Steve Lodge, your minute begins now. Before going solo, Nick Hayward was the lead vocalist of which 80s band?
Haircut 100.
Yes. Criminal Record and Journey to the Center of the Earth are album releases by which musician?
Rick Wakeman.
Yes. Who composed the piano work Scenes from Childhood and the Abegg Variations?
Schumann.
Yes. The songs The Brain and Welcome to Transylvania feature in which musical?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, Young Frankenstein. Which Motown song contains the lines, I know a man ain't supposed to cry, but these tears I can't hold inside?
I heard it through the grapevine.
Yes, the Helicopter Quartet features in whose licked...
Stockhausen.
Yes, that's right. According to the Randy Newman song, Simon Smith had an amazing what?
Dancing Bear.
Yes, in Tom Leira's comic song, what was he poisoning in the park?
Pigeons.
Yes, which artist created the record sleeves for the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers and the first Velvet Underground
Andy
album?
Warhol.
Yes, in which orchestral suite by Vaughan Williams can you hear the march past of the kitchen utensils?
The Wasps.
Yes, which string instrument was Lionel Tertis mainly...
Viola.
You really were on a roll there, Steve Lodge. In that round, you scored 9 points. And so, at the end of today's semifinal of Counterpoint, the final scores are third with 12 points, Tim Wise, runner-up with 20 points, Nikki Cockburn, and our winner and through to the final with 24 points is Steve Lodge. Well done, Steve Lodge. We'll be meeting you once again in the final next week. My thanks and commiserations go to the other two of you after an entertaining and high-scoring contest. We'd love to have you back in a future series to see if you can jump that final hurdle. Please join us next time if you can for the grand final of Counterpoint 2021. It promises to be a vintage contest. Goodbye.